Actually on time for once. Ah, there we go. Okay. How about that? I'm actually starting on time for once. All right. Okay, we'll start in just a minute. As usual, we're just waiting for a few people here. Yeah, the nice thing about doing this that I didn't anticipate before I started it is that, I really feel the need to have the impact review done before I do the live stream, just because I don't want to have to worry about that afterward. So it kind of lights a fire under me to get the impact review done a lot sooner than I usually get it done. Which is beneficial, because then I have the rest of the week to just, where I don't have to think about that. I didn't just lose the damn stream, did I? No, it's still going. Yep, audio was good. Well, it's after 10, so I might as well get started. Okay. How about that? I'm starting on time for once. Yay. All right, welcome back to the show. If you're joining us for the first time this week, this is the show where I dissect all the weekly comic shows from the past week, not counting Walking Dead, which I just don't care for. I do one show at a time. I give my thoughts, we do questions and comments, and then we go to the next show. And afterward, I cover anything I missed. So if you have anything you want me to talk about from any of the weekly comic shows, write it down there, and I'll get to it at some point. Tonight's dinner is chicken salad from the supermarket and my usual fruit smoothie. And Tuesday was election day, so S.H.I.E.L.D. and Flash got the week off. So we got Constantine, we got Gotham, and we got Arrow tonight. And what the hell? If you want to ask about Legend of Korra, go ahead and ask about that too. We can talk about that. So write your questions down there, and let's get started. Let's start with Constantine. Episode 2, The Darkness Beneath. Constantine goes to a mining town in Pennsylvania to investigate a guy who burned to death in his shower. He fights some restless earth spirit type thing, or something like that, and he meets Zed from the comics, who I guess the producers just liked better than Liv from the pilot. This episode was written by Rockney S. O'Bannon, apparently, creator of Farscape. So I may have been just predisposed to like this one, but I thought this was a big improvement over the pilot episode. It was smaller in scale. They didn't go overboard with the big CG set pieces, and strangely enough, I thought it came off a lot better for it. They focused more on an intimate setting and more down-to-earth visuals. The show seems to do better with that type of stuff. I would favor that over like the big over-the-top things we saw last week. It just comes off a lot more polished and less cartoony to me. Scarier too. There were no pacing issues this time. Everything flowed at a natural pace. It just like it needed to service the plot. Not slow 1 minute and fast the next. The writing I thought was a lot tighter this week. They didn't try to cover too much story. The exposition dumps were gone. And even though the episode was more or less standalone, I thought it felt much more cohesive than the pilot, which was steeped in a lot of the show's mythology. And I thought, some things were left kind of confusing at times. I'm really liking the can't talk today. The Constantine character. I like him. He seems like an interesting guy. He cares about doing the right thing, but at the same time, he's kind of a dick. Yeah, he uses Zed for her visions to get a clue about what's going on. And he watches her collapse and writhe in pain because of this, and then he just takes off and leaves her in the hotel room. Like, what an ass. But then he comes back later and he makes up for it. And so he's not heartless. He's just really jaded, I guess. He's charming at the same time, too. Speaking of Zed, I like her so far. We don't get a lot of information about her yet. I wasn't really clear on what her abilities are exactly. I guess she's some kind of psychic of undetermined variety or something like that. They could have specified that a little more. But I like the actress a lot, though. I'm enjoying the relationship between her and Constantine, how they don't seem to trust each other or even like each other that much, but at the same time they find that they kind of need each other and they're drawn to each other in a weird way. So that should be an interesting dynamic to play around with. One complaint I had about her, though, was in the one scene where she's at the bar looking for him, and then she finds him in her flat waiting for her, and then she just tells him to get lost. Weren't you trying to find him like 5 minutes ago? Who knows? The weakest part of the episode, I thought, was the fight with the demon or the earth spirit. I don't know what that thing was. Whatever it was, in the mine. The fight in the mine. This part fell flat, I thought. It just seemed like they defeated that thing really easily. Zed draws some kind of glyph or rune on the wall. Constantine says a few words, and it just disappears. I would have given the episode a thumbs down if that had been the actual climax. But it was more clever than that. There were some nice twists and turns here. They didn't go for the obvious culprit, and they actually had me guessing about a few different characters before Constantine paid a visit to the dead guy's widow. I liked it. I really liked that she turned out to be the killer because they set her up as a sympathetic figure earlier on, being in an unhappy marriage with a guy who is said to be kind of an asshole. And then they turn that on its head, and then holy shit, she's got evil gypsy magic. That was good. And that moment where at the end where she gets dragged into the ground by the vengeful, spirit of her dead husband, which she set up to get killed. That was easily creepier than anything they did last week. So I like that a lot, and I like this episode a lot too. I thought it was a big step up from the pilot in just about every way. Yeah, well done, Mr. O'Bannon. John Crichton would be proud. Well done. So that was Constantine this week. And I very much enjoyed that episode. Okay. And, well, no Constantine questions again. Okay. Well, people are still showing up, so if you got any questions about Constantine this week, just write them in the comment section. We're still waiting for some questions to accumulate, so I'll continue and come back to those later. All right, let's move on to Gotham. Gotham episode 7, The Penguin's Umbrella, wherein everybody finds out that Cobblepot is still alive, and things come to a head with Falcone and Maroni, and the bad guys wanting Gordon and Bullock dead, at least for now. This was a weird episode. In some ways, I thought it was really good, and in some ways, I found it incredibly infuriating. On the one hand, I thought the payoff to the whole Gordon supposedly murders Penguin story was well done. You see Gordon getting like really desperate, which makes for good TV. So desperate that he puts Barbara on a bus out of town, arresting the mayor, storming into Falcone's home with a machine gun. That's pretty big stuff. But then they find out that Falcone's got more on the ball than they thought. That, or maybe Barbara is just not that bright. I kind of think it was a little bit of both. But she goes to Falcone to plead for Gordon's life. What did she think was going to happen? Come on, Barbara. You're smarter than that. Jesus Christ. I liked seeing Montoya make peace with Gordon and them winding up on the same side. Last week, I had a question. Someone asked me whether they thought Montoya was too unlikable because she was going after Gordon instead of the real bad guys, and I don't think she was unlikable. She was just had her suspicions misplaced a little bit, and she owned up to that here. She said, she admitted that maybe her history with Barbara had kind of clouded her judgment a little bit, and she admitted it, and there was an admission there, and I like that. The characters don't have to be perfect. Flawed characters are interesting characters, and I like Montoya. I liked her a lot here. Plus, it's nice to see that at least some cops besides Gordon actually have a conscience in this town. So that's 3. Maybe 4 if we're counting Bullock. I don't know if you can count him all the way, though. Victor Zsasz was really cool. Not knowing the character from the comics, I can't say what kind of interpretation this was, but I like the actor. Apparently, he was Poison Gas Cloud Man on Flash a few weeks ago, I think. Kind of a weird coincidence. The character was fun, though. He seems like a good villain. I want to see more of him. And I thought the twist at the end with Cobblepot, that was really good. I did think it was a little hard to swallow how he convinced Falcone to let him live. It's like, well, if you let me live, then I'll do all this stuff for you, and I'll go undercover with Maroni, and I'll get information for you, and all this stuff. And it's like, what? Really? Really? You're gonna do all that, and Falcone just accepts this? I don't know, but I guess that's part of the story, that Cobblepot is just really good at this type of coercion. Maybe that's something he's got a natural talent for. And it is cool that Cobblepot's rapidly turning into like a really dangerous manipulator. Turning Maroni's henchmen's own men against him like he did. That was cool. And it was something I would expect from the Penguin. That was good. The stakes felt very high for everyone across the board this week, and that's a big plus the episode had going for it. From Gordon to Bullock, Bullock basically had accepted his fate, and he figured, well, if I'm going down, I might as well go down in a blaze of glory. So, sure, let's walk into Falcone's house with guns and just start tearing shit up. That was nice. However, there were some incredibly stupid things that happened in this episode, too. Bullock finds out that Gordon let Cobblepot live. And what does he do? He pulls a gun on Gordon in the police station. Other officers saw this. No one tries to stop him. No one blinks at it or even mentions it afterward. A cop pulling a gun on another cop. No one thinks that's worth following up on, or at least asking a few questions or trying to break it up at all. Really? No one? Didn't really buy that. However, that doesn't even hold a candle to the stupidest thing in this episode. Oh my God. Victor Zsasz shows up at the precinct, makes it very clear what his intentions are. He basically tells the entire police force to get lost so he can turn Gordon into Swiss cheese. And they do it. Every police officer clears out. Everyone. Even the captain takes off. What? What? What the fuck is this? Is Gordon the only honest cop with a pair of balls in this entire fucking city? This is absurd. I get that Falcone is powerful, but holy shit, there's corruption, there's cartoonish corruption, and then there's this. I mean, maybe they just wanted to set the stage for Montoya to save the day, but still, I mean, that whole scenario was ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Also, Zsasz shot another police officer in the parking lot. When Montoya and her partner got Gordon out of there, they just left that officer to get killed. Never mentioned again. She might as well have been wearing a big red shirt. It's possible Montoya didn't know that she was there, but I'm pretty sure Gordon knew. Can't spare 1 second to say, oh, that guy, he killed a cop in the parking lot and I couldn't save her. No, they just forget about her. She wasn't important. Just a mention of it would have been nice. Not quite as stupid as that, but something that made me tilt my head. Cobblepot leads Maroni's hitmen to the place where Falcone's guys are hiding out with like a shit ton of money. Those guys all get killed. But since Cobblepot has apparently been secretly working for Falcone this whole time, that means that in addition to costing Falcone a lot of money, he just got Falcone's own men killed. And Falcone is okay with this? I assume he is, because that's another thing that's never mentioned again. Maybe Falcone was prepared to sacrifice some low-level enforcers just to help Cobblepot ingratiate himself to Maroni. Maybe, but if that was what they were doing, then Mention it afterward. Say that's what you were doing. Don't just leave it alone. I was not really okay with that stuff. I'm sorry. Also, Gordon gets shot in the leg by Victor Zsasz, and then afterward, he's not limping. Not even a little bit. That was kind of dumb. So ultimately, wow, I was really hot and cold on this episode. The good stuff was really good, and the bad stuff was really bad. So I'm not sure how to rate this one. Maybe the good and the bad things cancel each other out, and we can call this episode just slightly above average for Gotham. But for this show, it was still a step up from those first couple episodes. So there were a few things. Can't talk tonight. There were some things to like a lot here, but I'm not giving this episode a free pass because there was a good deal of bad stuff too. See. Duke Nukem 3DO, can you talk about the upcoming MCU Phase 3 movies? Sure. What do you want me to talk about them? Which ones? Do you have any specific questions? I'm just telling you this in advance. I can speak generally, but specific questions would be easier. Let's see, Arrow question. Not yet. All right, Jacob Walton. My thoughts on Gotham this week. This week was a payoff episode to tie all the stories together. I loved Zsasz. I loved the twist with Cobblepot and Falcone, and going back and rewatching the other episodes, the pieces were all there. I agree. I thought Barbara was a moron, but you know what? I goddamn love Butch after watching this episode. Butch. I'm not sure. Am I supposed to know who that is? I don't. Is that a comic reference? Damn it. No. But yeah, pretty much agree with everything there. I liked Zsasz a lot. I just didn't really like what they did with him. The whole scenario where he clears out the entire precinct and starts a gunfight in the precinct, I thought was kind of absurd, to be honest with you. The Cobblepot Falcone thing was cool. Barbara, she was... I don't know what the hell she was thinking. That was a bonehead move. Jacob Walton again. Falcone wanted the Russian dead since he knew Fish and Nikolai would try to double-cross him. All right. Were the Russians men the guys in the building that got killed by Penguin and Maroni's guys? Was that what happened there? We'd have to rewatch the episode. I might have missed something, but I don't know. I guess I'd have to go back and see that again. Boys, it is a slow night for comments this week. Oh, Butch is Fish Mooney's henchman. Oh, that guy. Okay, right. Right, okay. Cool. All right, Jacob Walton. Out of all the henchmen and all the comic book shows, example, S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Arrow, which is your favorite? Example, Butch, Bakshi, etc. I'm going to go with Bakshi just because, well, Butch hasn't made much of an impression on me because I didn't know who he was. Yes, Bakshi has just had more to do so far. We've actually seen him a lot more than Whitehall. and he's actually gotten to do some things, like go out in the field and impersonate Talbot and stuff, and threaten brainwashing and stuff like that. So he's gotten to do a few things. Butch, I guess the guy's just made no impression on me yet. Are there any other henchmen on these shows? Does Diggle count as a henchman on Arrow? I don't think so. Yeah, slow night for comments, apparently. Okay, we got Arrow here. 1 second. All right. I just realized like an hour ago, Big Hero 6 and Interstellar both premiere tomorrow. Well, or tonight, actually. Which I did not know. I didn't know that. And I thought I had to work tomorrow, but apparently I don't, so I can go see one or both of them tomorrow. Really excited. All right. Arrow, Season 3, Episode 5. The Secret Origin of Felicity's Smoke. Felicity's hacker past comes back to haunt her in the form of her still living ex-boyfriend. Also, her mom comes to town, who turns out to be a lot more interesting than he is. This is Arrow's first official Felicity Spotlight episode. And considering how popular the character is, I'm surprised it took him this long. And with Felicity front and center, it goes without saying that this was probably one of the funniest Arrow episodes that they've done so far. And that's one of the reasons why Felicity is so great. Because without her, there would be almost no levity on this show at all. And it would just be like really dour and not nearly as much fun. So that character, she's a goldmine of entertainment. She really is. I love the opening sequence of this episode, where it's this big training montage. You see Oliver and Roy. Nice to actually see Roy training for once, because we've never really seen that before. And we got Thea and Malcolm, Laurel and Wildcat, and then they cut to Felicity struggling to do a few sit-ups. And then it's just one awkward encounter after another. Because Ray Palmer shows up, and then her mom shows up, and her day hasn't even started yet. That was great. And speaking of awkward encounters, Ray Palmer, fucking stalker. All the stuff he's already done, apparently, left her messages, apparently sent her flowers or something, tried to coerce her into working for him, bent over backwards to make her happy. Now he's showing up at her home first thing in the morning. This guy wants something from her. And I'm not just talking about her technical expertise. This is not professional behavior, okay? He's freaking stalking her. And I don't know how this can be interpreted any other way at this point. I don't think he's supposed to be coming off like this, but he is. I'm sorry, and I'm getting a little bit creeped out. So maybe dial it back with this guy a little bit, No. But Ray Palmer wasn't really in too much of the episode. The biggies this week are the Felicity flashbacks and her mom coming to town. The flashbacks were interesting. I'm not sure how Felicity being a goth hacker type meshed with her current persona. Maybe she was always like this, but she was trying to be someone else as like a way to rebel against her mom, or to not be like her mom, or something like that. I don't know, but there was a bit of a disconnect there. But it was fun to see how she became what she became, even if I question the execution a little bit. Her boyfriend, though, oh boy, the less we see of this guy, the better. I did not like this guy at all, and not because he was the villain. This guy, the boyfriend, whose name I can't even remember, this guy felt like a dime a dozen self-righteous douchebag character that we've seen a million times before in other shows, who claims he wants to be a hero and help people and blah, 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 but he's really just out for himself. And his motivation is so poorly conceived. It seems like he's only interested in money and causing anarchy for anarchy's sake because evil is bad, I guess. You know, he reminded me of the weather wizard from the Flash pilot, and that's a bad that's a bad thing. That's not good. You know, thinking that using a virus to wipe out all the student loan records will make him a hero somehow. No, that makes you a fucking criminal. You know, then he looks up Felicity years later, but, oh no, she went to work for one of those evil corporations that hold down the man because, God forbid, Felicity have a nice job and financial security, so damn her. Well, God, come on, go fuck yourself. Get over yourself, you idiot. And then the reveal that he's still alive when he was obviously the guy behind the whole thing. It was meant to be surprising, but it wasn't. You could see that coming a mile away. I just did not like this guy at all. I thought he was a really unimpressive character at a conceptual level, and this show is usually better with stuff like that. So I guess it's fitting that he actually gets taken out, not by Oliver, but by the one character on the show that has had no fight training whatsoever. One punch from Felicity and he goes down. Good for Felicity, but man, what a fucking lame ass this guy was. No need to bring that character back, Arrow writers. Just leave him alone from now on. Far more enjoyable was Felicity's mom. What a delight she was. I forget the actress's name, but I hope they bring her back because that was a really fun performance. She had to shift between a few different modes here, from ditzy and bubbly to serious and dramatic, and she handled it really well. I didn't see a ton of similarities between her and Felicity, but this made me really curious about who Felicity's dad is now. Should we start taking bets about which DC character he's going to turn out to be? Because my interest is piqued. I'm really intrigued about who that guy is. There wasn't too much going on elsewhere. Laurel. Laurel is acting district attorney for about 5 minutes, and she somehow manages to take a dangerous situation and make it worse. Surprised? No. Laurel sucks. And how old is she? I assume she's like somewhere between, well, she's around the same age as Oliver, so she's probably between like 25 and 30, something like that. She's already acting district attorney. Boy, she advanced in her career really quickly. It's a little hard to swallow, actually. I did like that they managed to plug the plot hole about Thea not knowing about the Arrow Cave in the Foundry basement. Although it's the door is locked and Oliver was never able to get it open. So let's just leave it alone because I think there's a flood down there. Okay, all right. At least that's an explanation. I still think it's insane that they're still working out of that place. You know, they're just asking for trouble. They're just asking to be found out at this point. They should be packing up and moving to that secondary facility, but no, I guess they're just going to leave it in there. So I'm sure if he is going to find them eventually. And then the ending. Wow. Holy shit with that ending. I don't think any of us saw that one coming. With Roy, that was a shocker. It was a really damn good one, too. I don't know how they're going to explain this. After effects of the Mirakuru, maybe? Maybe he was hypnotized? Or maybe it's just a big fake out. We don't know. Man, I have no idea, but that was a really great twist. I almost jumped out of my seat when that happened. So that was terrific. So this was not a perfect episode. Felicity was great. Emily Bett-Rickards carried the episode beautifully. She gives a great performance. She's funny 1 minute, heartbreaking the next. And in one scene, she's both at the same time, which could not have been easy. Like when she spills her guts to her mom about how she's sorry that she's such an embarrassment to her. And they managed to work a little, some funny lines in there too. And, Emily was dynamite in this episode. Her mom was terrific. I want to see her again. Anything with those two was really good. The twist at the end with Roy was pretty jaw-dropping. But the whole subplot with the boyfriend, I just was not into this. That character was just lame, completely derivative. I didn't buy into him whatsoever. And I thought the show's first Felicity-centric episode deserved a more compelling antagonist than him because he just didn't get the job done, in my opinion. So that's Arrow for the week. Jacob Walton. Yeah, the Russians were the guys Penguin killed for Maroni. Okay, cool. That makes sense now. All right. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Well, we really don't have that many questions here this week. Guess a lot of people usually just ask questions about Flash and S.H.I.E.L.D., which we're on. That's all right. I was feeling kind of tired anyway, so I guess we don't have to go too late. Let's see. Let's just move on to questions in general, I guess. Or we can just do Arrow first, whatever. Gore492, do you prefer goth Felicity or blonde Felicity? I like blonde Felicity. The goth thing was pretty hot, but I think it's the glasses that sell it for me. I love the glasses just because nerdy girls are so hot. They're so hot. That's one of the reasons why I like Veda Scott, because it's the glasses, man. It's just, there's something about them. They're just adorable. Let's see, Costaladius, Felicity, blonde or raven-haired? Blonde. Felicity and Oliver, Felicity and Barry, or Felicity and Ray Palmer, which will most likely happen? Well, Barry is on another show with another love interest. Ray Palmer is just a guest star, and Oliver is the lead of this show. And Felicity is pretty much the female lead of this show. So, which is most likely probably Felicity and Oliver. I would expect that to happen at some point. Because they've been building that up for going on 3 seasons now. Emily Bett Rickards and Charlotte Ross. Yeah, that was the actress's name. Yeah, I'll be in my bunk. Yeah, Charlotte Ross. Wow, she's yeah, I could stand to watch her in that skimpy blue dress or a few more stains. That was nice. Yeah. Okay. Some good women's wrestling here. All right. Try to check that out at some point. Thank you. TKO Rising. Laurel is 27 years old, younger than Oliver. She's 27? Okay. So Laurel's 27 and she's already in a position to be acting district attorney. I find that hard to believe. It just seems like she's advanced in the DA's office very, very quickly. I don't buy it, really. All right, Duke Nukem. All right, let's see. You want me to talk about the Phase 3 movies? What about them exactly? The upcoming Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America 3, Ms. Marvel, Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. It looks like Cap 3 is going to be the Civil War storyline. Yeah. I have mixed feelings about that. I think I've talked about this before, but it feels like they're going to the well with the Civil War thing kind of early. Because Marvel loves to have their heroes fighting each other. But it just feels like it's so early to do this. Maybe they wanted to do this storyline while they still had Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. under contract. But I mean, there's still plenty of bad guys out there to fight. I mean, why are we having Cap and Iron Man fighting each other's right now? Isn't it kind of soon for this? I don't know. I kind of wish they weren't doing that one. It's like just go fight the Masters of Evil instead. You know, Ms. Marvel, really excited for that one. Supposedly, Ms. Marvel is going to have a cameo in Age of Ultron. I read something. It's kind of like a synopsis of the film that may or may not have been real. I think it was on Tumblr somewhere, although I'd never be able to find it again. Where there's supposed to be like one sequence where I guess Ultron robots are being fought by a squad of Air Force pilots and jets, and apparently Carol Danvers is one of them, although we don't see her. That's what it said. I don't know if it's true or not. It would be really cool if it is true. So yeah, Captain Marvel, probably the thing I'm most looking forward to in Phase 3. Still really hoping they cast Emily Blunt. She would be my #1 choice. Then Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. Breaking it up into 2 movies, that's fine with me. It's a big story, but I don't know how Thanos, rather, is going to collect all the Infinity Stones. Because, I mean, they're all over the place in separate locations. One of them is is with Hydra. One of them is like locked up by the Nova Corps. One of them, I think, is in the Asgardian vault. I mean, how is he going to collect all these things? I don't know. But I'm excited. I think at Comic-Con, there was like a teaser image of Thanos wielding, like, with the Infinity Gauntlet on. Probably just something they did for funsies, but it looked really cool. Good. So apparently, they kind of know what they're going, what they're doing for that, and where they're going creatively. So I guess a certain amount of work on that. So credit to Marvel. They're working like a well-oiled machine on their film division. Wow, I think that's pretty much it for questions. Is that all you guys want to talk about? Because if it is, we can just stop this early. I'm kind of tired, actually. Not because I really did anything today, but it's been raining for 2 days, and I've just been cooped up for a while. I haven't been able to get out and do anything. I usually take my bike out, ride that for a while. I just can't do it because of the weather. Just got no energy right now. I guess that's it for questions. Without Flash and Shield, it's kind of barren this week. Unless Google Plus is screwing with me again, which is entirely possible. Now, Jacob Walton. Well, I guess I'll give Constantine a shot. I didn't care for the pilot. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the Constantine pilot either, but the second episode was a lot better, I thought. So I think they've obviously made some changes since they filmed the pilot, and I think it's been to the show's benefit. So if they continue going in this direction, I think Constantine could turn into a good show. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Well, these things usually go close to 3 hours. Tonight, I guess we're wrapping up in about 50. That's okay. It was a light week, which I appreciated because I didn't have as many notes to take. So that was fun. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry we didn't have a whole lot to do this week, but I'll be back to business next time. So join me again next Thursday, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern on my channel, and we'll do this all over again. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, over, out.